Okay, so what I'm going to show you right now is, quite frankly, it's a battery inverter solar charger. It's brand new, 15.5 kilowatt hour battery inverter solar charger with an 8,000 watt inverter. Okay, and that's all contained in this area right here. Below here is your 15.5 kilowatt hour battery pack, lithium, LiFePO PO4, I believe it is. Not familiar with all the terminology on that, so we're all just kind of learning. This is the best I've found on this. So in front there, I've got two 120 amp, it appears to be 15 amp plug systems in the front, because 20 amps would have that little notch in the one positive side, remember? All right, so in this case here, what I have, let me go outside and show you something here. I've got 6 solar cells out there, and this is set up in what's called 3S2P. Now 3S2P means 3 in series, 2 in parallel. So I have 2 sets. The first 3 sets right there are all in series, and this over here is another set all in series. I just purchased another 2 to go on the end of this, so I'm going to have a total of 8 solar cells shortly. And so what I'm going to do with those 8 solar cells shortly is I'll be producing 8 times 40. 8 times 40 is 320. It'd be almost like a 3,200 watt system, okay? Now, that's a 3,200 watt system. They put out 40 volts a piece, right? So, so 40 volts, assuming times 4, is 160. This unit will take up to 230 volts at 20 amps. Now, as you all know, whenever you hook up 3 in series, you times the voltage, right? So if that one's 40, right, 40, 80, 120, okay? So that's maximum amount, and I'm gonna have 160, which will be fine. Now, when you hook up in parallel, you don't increase your voltage, but you increase your amperage. So these are based after 13 amps right away, right off the bat, 13 to 14 amps. And then that means I've got 26 amps coming in. So now let's go down to my monitor here, and we're going to go ahead and check the monitor system up. Pull it up here, hold on here. All right, I'm going to go page 1, 2, and 3. So you go to MPP status 2-4, you'll notice that I'm getting 96.7 volts. Now, obviously my output current is 15.2 amps. It should be reading approximately, and that's based off the sun, okay? And that goes up and down throughout the day. I'm gonna have to tell you, depends on how much solar things, it's really not stable. During the evening it'll be 6, during the night, day it'll be 20 plus. So I'm getting a pretty good 1246 watts right now. And I'm getting what's called a status of a quick charge. Notice that on the bottom, quick CHA. So that's actually, and it's 40 degrees Celsius, so I don't want to get over 50. So I got to be careful. The system will shut down, so you got to be careful how much you actually do. So let's go back to page 4. Page 4 represents all my output, my AC, my 244 volts. That's what I got. 121 volts on each one of the hot legs, and these are relevant to 121. I increased it from 115 from the factory because the refrigerator likes to be 118 and above. So you got to be careful on that. So my load's 25% on one leg and 3% on the other. They stated that I don't have to worry too much about the legs being on this type of transformer. So I'm not going to worry too much about it at this edge. Battery voltage is 81.6 volts. If you notice on the bottom, that shuts off at 72, I believe it is, 72. So I'm going to go over here. This is where the Evo comes into play. So right now I'm pulling in 11.6 amps, 12.4. Notice the fluctuation. I'm currently charged at 96%. I'm currently running an 8,000 BTU central air conditioner on high, along with an industrial fan on high, and the blinking lights are accordingly. They say inverter is good, the charge is clean, and the alarm is off, thank God. And so in this case here, folks, you also have the capability to program this. So how many volts you want coming in, how many volts you want going out. You got to be careful. There's certain manufacturing specs you don't want to mess with on that. So if I held this for a length of time, I'd go here, and then I would go here, and then I would go here, and it would go here, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, and then I would hit 1, and then it's going to go into a different setup. So now I can go ahead and play around with it. Output voltage is 120. Now if I hit output voltage at 120, I can change that to 115, 105, 110, etc., etc. Again, I'm just leaving it at 120 to get the full 240, okay? So that's good. Then I come over here to hertz. You don't want to mess with hertz, obviously, because everything is 60 hertz in America, correct? All right, so AC charging amperage is at 25 amps. Notice that. So that's where I want to, whenever I start pulling in from my breaker box, which I can charge this up, or from a 25 amp solar generator, just a regular gas generator, I can go there. So we'll leave it alone. So my PV charging amps is 60 amps. I got up to 60 amps, and you notice I was at 20. I'll increase that approximately another 10. It'll get up to 30, and I'll be in good shape. UPS is uninterrupted power supply, which is basically coming from my grid, okay? And then you got priority solar. You got different options on that. You can use uninterrupted power supply, solar, and 220. So no big deal. We're in the midst of using solar at this moment. Backlight is just what you see there. And the set time is where, if you wanted to hook it up to the grid, right? If you want to hook it up to the grid, you would turn around and take this, and you would set the time for it to power up during the, what we use in Tampa Electric would be 8 cents per kilowatt hour, and then discharge when they charge you 22 cents per kilowatt hour. So pretty cool idea, right? All right, so that pretty much takes care of all that. That's your basic settings. And I can tell you right now, folks, is that we're going to go right back to normal. We're still at 96%. Everything looks fantastic. I'm pretty impressed with it all right now. I'm getting ready to hook up the big boys in a little bit here. I've got the wiring system a little skewed throughout there. Disregard the mess, of course. These are 10 ADWGs. Get the best cord you can. Always get the bigger cord, 10 AWG. They come with 12 AWGs on my solar panels, but that's good for 20 plus amps, and it's fine. However, when you start doing the connections, you want to get that. You want to be able to handle the load and the amperage. And I will try to show you here what I got going on here, if I can. Let me see here. Okay, you'll see right down there, right here. That's a Y connector. So this is between the series. Can you see that, folks? Probably not. This will be between the series and the parallel, right? So we got to hook up the negative with the negative, and then the positive with the positive over here. So over here, I got my positive, and I got a little blocker on there to let the sun in. Okay, let me see here. I'm going to try to show it to you. Hold on, folks. Yeah, there it is. So I'm looking at it. You got to be careful. Okay, you got to watch. You want to watch the heat. Always feel for the heat in there, okay? That's kind of important. So keep the black out of the sun. Keep the black out of the sun. Always remember that. And you'll always say, well, Jim, you got the negative over here. Well, the only reason I do that is because I had no choice. So, but that's all right. So this is all hooked up. Now let's go ahead and take a look around here. Again, you got nice AC coming out. And notice I've got it powered right up against the side of the controller. That's the input. When the inverter goes off, it cools it up. You'll notice that I have the fan kind of hooked up and the AC kind of blasting up this side. So it's real cold here, and it's just coming up here. And then I put a little cover on there to capture some of the cold air, so that when the inverter does go off, it won't hurt anything. All right? So we're in pretty good shape. Life is good. Life is good. And we're in pretty good shape on everything. We always just double check all the information. Oh yeah, we're good. So when that sun goes down tonight, what are we going to do? The sun's going to go down, and I'm going to leave this on, okay? And I'll probably turn off the AC portion of it, and I will then do some more tests and see how long this operation lasts. So far, it looks like I can pull about, I'm going to say 1,000 watts overnight, which is plenty to handle my AC, a small AC like that, obviously, and a refrigerator or a freezer. And that should keep all my perishables safe. All right, now let's go back over here and tell you what it comes with. Again, forgive the mess. I'm gonna show you this side of it right here. Okay, on this side here, folks, you have a lot of interesting items here. So this is when I get ready to plug to my breaker or to feed my house or my sub panel, I'm going to be using this particular unit right here, and there's a term for it. I think it's called MP 1450. I don't recall offhand, but anyways, I'll get that information in a second. But you'll notice the plug variation. Interesting, right? It's a monster. I mean, you can see that's a monster. So. And then over here, you got what you call your PV cable system. Okay, that's all of them right there. Oh, what I wanted to tell you too, and I didn't show you out there, I put an inline Hurrara 15 amp fuse in line here. And like I said, if I had a link and I was really worried about showing it to you, I would show you. But there's a 15 amp inline link on the positive cable on both sides. This is your 50 amp breaker right here for power coming in. This is the power going out, obviously, right? Now here's the power going in, right here, right there. See that? So I'm going to hook it up into that, and that's going to go right there. This is the Wi-Fi. If you want to do it over the Wi-Fi, I'm having a little problem figuring that out, but I'll get into that later. So let's go ahead and come over here to the power cords that came with it. All right, let's take a look here. All right, so here's the power cords that came with it right here. Pretty much it. Obviously, you can tell that I'm going to pull this guy out here. Hold on here. All right, sorry about that. So let's put it up here. All right, so basically that power cord right there goes into there, okay? So I have two of them, came with two 10-footers. So that power cord goes in there. So if I want to go for input from my breaker, I'll be plugging that into there. And then that right there goes into another MPE 14. Can't remember the name of the connector. I wish it was written on there. But it goes into a plug, a sub panel, and it feeds the sub panel up to 50 amps. And you can bring all your circuitry you want to bring over. Now, you start using 50 amps, you're going to get yourself in a quick draw. Now they come with different battery packs that you can add on to this. Now 15.5 is pretty good. But eventually I might say, let's go up to the 30 amp and then get another plug, and it plugs in right here. All right. So pretty much it. It's a pretty much inclusive one-stop shop. It's a pretty much simple operation. By the way, the AC output is the one that you're going to be, this goes in, okay? This is the stuff that goes in from the system. And they usually have it selected from the main. That goes into the main, and this goes into the output sub panel. Sorry about if I misunderstood myself. And so that's a pretty good setup. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this panel right here, since this is the output, right? I'm going to go to the input side right now. I'm going to go to the output side of it. Let me rephrase what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go to the output side right now, and then I'm going to chop off this beautiful cable, probably a very expensive cable, and I'm going to chop it off right here, okay? And I'm going to expose the wires after I do that. So we're going to have the output and the input. I'm going to expose the wires, and then I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to hope that there's a 4-panel in there, and then I'm going to find a dryer vent. Yep, that's 30 amps. That'll work. That works fine. So I'll take my 30 amp and I'll hook my neutral, my negative, because there'll be 4 wires. There'll be a black, a red, white, and a green. And hopefully it's very well color coded in there. And if it's not, I'll have to figure it out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook it directly into this panel and shut everything off. And then I'm going to start pulling it. Like, for instance, I'm going to try to run the well, because that's a 220 volt, right? I'm going to try to run the well, and then I'm going to try to run the refrigerator, wherever that's at. I think it's on the top, kitchen and nook, yeah. So what I'll try to do, and then I'll shut off everything, and so I'm going to mimic a power outage and see how long this system will last and see how much I can pull. All right, looking forward to page 2. Eventually, let me give you some other insight. I'm going to turn around and come in here, right there, and somewhere right about here, I'm going to drill a hole, and I'm going to pull in a 1.5-inch pipe, and I'm going to put some 2224 THHN, and I'm going to drop a sub panel right here. And then that sub panel is going to come out, and this may be a little bit of illegal, but I'm going to be careful, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the breaker as my transfer switch. So they don't like you doing that. I'm going to try to show it to you, but apparently I can't. So I use that breaker as my transfer switch. So let me see if I can show you here, folks. Hold on here. Again, sorry, I'm not much of a thing. So let's go ahead and draw it. Let's draw it out here. Let me show you what I'm going to do here, folks. All right. So I got, of course, that wouldn't work. You know that it wouldn't work. You must have known that it wouldn't work. But let's find a nice little magic marker. Can't find one. Hot diggity. Oh, by the way, I'm a believer in Jesus Christ as my personal Savior, and hopefully you guys know about him and all that. And if you don't, well, that's going to be in the wicked world that we're living in right now, with all that perverse stuff that's happening in June, and all the weirdoisms that happen around the world, and people calling good evil and evil good, and the prophecies happening in Israel, and it's kind of worth talking about. Obviously, I can't find that. Can't find it, folks. So I'm going to have to go back to the pen. Let's rewind it, find out where I did with my pen. Okay, there we are, right there. So let's just see if we can't show you what I'm up to. So, okay, there you go. Can you see it? Yeah, sure you can. All right, so here's the sub panel, right? Here's the main panel, right? And I got all my breakers here, right? Good. And all my breakers here. And so what I'm eventually going to do is take it from my well, okay? And then I'm going to drop that down, and what the well is going to have 2 leads, hot, right? 2 hots, okay? And 1 common, okay? And then 1 ground, okay? So I'm going to take the 2 hots, and I'm going to drag it through a pipe here, and I'm going to put it into a smaller sub panel, and then I'm going to turn around and make that my main, and it's going to hook into there, and then it's going to have a good amount of breakers. I'm thinking maybe 6 to 8, whatever. And I'd like to have a shut-off valve here, another shut-off for a 50 amp right here. Even though I have one already down there, I think I'd like to have 2, just as a safety aspect, okay? We'll see how that works out. Then I'm going to take this has to be non-bounded, or non-bounded. Is that the word for it? It can't be bound. So normally you have in your main panel, you have your neutral and your commons bound together. So they work together. And when you go to a sub panel, you don't want that. So you're going to have your own ground bar sitting over here. So anyways, we're going to take the 4 wires that come out of the well, be 4 of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to drop that into the breaker here, right there. Doggone it. Ain't that a shame, huh? Okay, we're going to bring that over like so. And then we're going to bring the ground wire over to the ground bar. And then we're going to bring the neutral over to the neutral bar. Okay? And then we're going to turn around and go from the ground bar. I'm going to put a big old monster there. We're going to put a number 7, or I'm just going to be safe. I'm going to call it number 6. And I'm going to take that 6 and all the way down here, and then I'm going to take this long brass pole and drill a hole in my cement. And then I'm going to connect that as its own little earthen ground protector. All right? So anyways, at that point then, I'm going to take one of these and I'm going to make this a 35 to I'm going to probably make it a 35 breaker. And that 35 breaker is going to come out of, let's go over here so I can show you now, because it's going to be all closed up, right? So here's the main, here's the sub panel, right? So we came over here and we put a pipe in here like this, and we cleaned it up real nice. Now we're going to come in here, we're going to come off here, and we're going to have what's called a output. All right, so this output breaker, which will be here, okay, that little son of a gun is going to have that plug outlet, the male or the female. And over here we're going to do another one. Okay, now you're going to ask me why I'm doing two, but one's going to be a male and one's going to be a female. Okay, I'm going to take this one because I might want to draw some power to charge up my system as well. So I want to backfeed here, and I want to power up my thing. So let's say a hurricane's coming in the line. I want to turn around and get ready for the hurricane. So I don't have any sun. So I might want to charge up my my system through this right here, and that'll backfeed from my main panel all the way up. Okay, and then if I want to bring back the power after I've gotten my solar and everything good, this will feed here. It'll feed all my well, it'll feed some lights, it'll feed a refrigerator, it'll feed everything I want it to. Or I could just turn around and backfeed directly into this, shutting off my main power at my house. Make sure you do that, because there's the illegality of that. That usually requires a transfer switch and a qualified electrician, which I am just a hack. But for the most part, you want to make sure if you're ever backfeeding any electrical power, you've got to shut off your main. Don't forget that. Very important, guys. So that's going to be the extent of it. I'm going to make a frame for all of those solar cells out there. It's going to be a real nice frame. I figured, so I'm at 28 degrees latitude, and that means that they want to have that at a 28 degree tilt, and then plus minus 15 during the summer, and plus 15 during the winter. So a happy median would be 15. Now I might get tricky and put these all on pipes and make them rotate around the sun. I don't know yet. I'm still working on it. But my mind will get somewhere where I'll go to sleep thinking about it for a while, and something will pop up where I put a sprocket in there. I don't know yet. But apart from that, that is going to feed pretty much the shop over there. So let me go out there and show you what's going on there. Pretty nice little system here. So I live here. I don't know if you can see it all, but anyways, that's my home. And that's my shop, without getting involved in the shop. I don't want to show it to you all, but whatever. But I'm going to see if I can just go ahead and put this into my shop, and maybe put the bar there where everything rotates around, and feed the shop. And then the shop will be fed by the main primarily, and this will be a supplemental thing. But during a hurricane, we lost our power for what? I think it was approximately, I'm going to say it was about 3 to 4 days. And I think someone said it was 5, but so we lost power for 5 days. Once that happened, well, that was a real pain, and I had to use my gas generator, 6500, and I did do a backfeed, and I shut off my main, and sure enough, I was able to keep this guy running off 6500, so 6500 watt, and it worked out like a champ. All right, so I've been monitoring this, and my monitor shows good. Let's turn on the light. See how I'm at an 89% now, folks? And let's go ahead and take a look at the PV power on page 2. Sorry, yeah, it's tracking right now. I wish it would. So it does a quick charge and then it tracks it. I don't understand. It must go down a little bit. There must be a reason for that. Is the only thing I can come up with. So far, the customer service at Battery Evo sucks. Excuse my language, Lord Jesus. It does not. They are not really well at this. And if you go to Google, they're not good at it. It's almost like you cannot find any good information on what's the best solar system to buy and how to get it. So far, this has been probably the best idea I've come up with I've got total right now into it about $6,500. But I got a heck of a deal for the whole system for $5,700. That includes the solar panels and everything. That'll put out 220 volts. I'm not impressed by the customer service over there. They're really not insightful enough to be critical thinkers. You know, I remember living in California at one time, and we used to always have to be a little critical thinking. You know, we used to have to think outside the box and try to work things through. I guess they've gotten a little Midwesterner on us. Who knows? As some folks call them, California. Yes. All right, so as you can see, we're obviously living in the country. We're rational human beings. We love God, so that makes me a what? That's right, a Donald Trump fan. I wish he wouldn't have gotten in trouble for that, but you know, show me the man, I'll show you the crime. And I think we all have something in our background that could probably get us in trouble. Hopefully he wins, and hopefully there's no retribution and vindictiveness going on, and God can take control again. All right, folks, I think that's enough for today. I think you've got a pretty good idea. That's, by the way, it's called the Arctic 15.5 kilowatt hour battery, and it's a real nice system. Thank you very much. Have a good day.